Okay, it being 5:30 on Monday, December 29th, 2025, I will call to order the meeting of the Shelburne Select Board. The first item on the agenda is the acceptance of minutes. Um, with the holidays, they came in a little late, but I was able to get them and review them. I saw no corrections or errors that need to be fixed. Rod, yourself?
I see no need for changes.
Then we need a motion to accept as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of December 15th as presented.
And I will second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes 2-0-0. Uh, Next item on our agenda will be liaison reports. Andrew, welcome, has joined us. Liaison reports. Rod, anything for us?
I have nothing being the busy holiday
Yeah,
period.
it kept it a little slow.
It
I have,
did.
I have a few things that are updates. You may recall the car charging station behind Freezer Locker. What's it called now?
Keystone.
Keystone Market.
I
Uh,
do the same thing.
it was repaired today. That one of the two was inoperable due to a broken connection for the plug. So that got resolved and is back in order today. We also found out today that the Hampshire County Group Insurance is planning mid-January. I think it was the 21st to have a meeting at which time they would present estimates for the coming fiscal year. For mid-February, I think it was the 20th ballpark, they would be giving us numbers that would be more real for planning our budgeting for our health insurance costs for the next fiscal year. And lastly, Cowell Gym end of last week, the heating failed. The mini split heat pumps are proving worthless in commercial applications so far, but it failed again. Uh, John Walsh went up and turned on the oil heat. Heard a strange noise, turned out a main tank, trunk line rather, in the steam had had a leak and was blowing all that heat out that hole. So there was no heat at all at the Cowell for a while, and I haven't had an update since. Terry, have you heard?
Hartnett was called and I believe fixed the steam leak. The mini splits are functioning on the basement level, but not upstairs. So John's just staying on Jamrog.
Yeah,
He suggested today that the board might want to request a letter or create a letter to Jamrog suggesting that the manufacturer visit the gym and take a look at the mini splits to see what's going on because they've been nothing but problems.
for sure. I think there are two separate units there, one for the first floor and one for the top floor. So it it makes sense that one is working and the other isn't. So what do we need to do to approve having him? Do we draft the letter and give it to John or?
John will let me know if he'd like the board to apply some pressure.
Oh,
He had not heard from Jamrog as of today, but made it clear that he thought the manufacturer should be called in.
okay.
Meanwhile, we're accepting deliveries of oil like every 2 to 3 days up there.
Hmm, yeah. Wonderful budget planning shot.
Mm.
All right.
Why
Well,
do we need such frequent deliveries, Terry?
Well, the tanks are smaller. We've
Oh,
had frigid temperatures, and even though the gym upstairs is kept at 62, it's not a very efficient means of heating.
yeah, that's a big
I see.
space. Definitely a big space. Well, if John wants that, want to just take a consensus tonight to authorize him to do that if he sees so fit to contact the manufacturer
It would be a letter from the board. So once
on the
he
board.
lets me know, I
Okay.
can draft something and have you sign if the board agrees with that.
Okay.
I would move that we authorize Rick to take action with the manufacturer as needed.
Terrific.
I second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew?
Aye.
Rod?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. And that's all I have for liaison related report. Oh, I have one other. You recall we had town council look at the the police chief's 3-year renewal contract, made a bunch of changes, sent it back to the chief. His attorney reviewed it and has now given the go as we presented it. So that's now an agreed document, and Terry at some point will get us all together to deal with that. I believe normally in an executive session, but just as an update, they had no problem with the changes that Donna made.
I will
Now
circulate
I'm
the new
done.
contract to both Andrew and Rod.
Thank you.
Great. That just happened today. Andrew, liaison reports.
Yeah, mine are short. The library turned out did not have a meeting last week, and they have postponed it till after the holidays. The sewer commission did meet last week and has forwarded a recommendation. That doesn't look like it made it onto the agenda. Maybe we can address that in any other business or
It's
whatever.
on new business item D. You may have not got, I sent out a revised agenda.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the old one. Yeah. And we are still working our way through the budget to actuals and end of year stuff to try to better understand where our reserve situation is, and we are continuing to move forward with the big capital projects that we have in front of us, and trying to set a schedule of meetings with Buckland. So that's what the Sewer Commission is up to. But we're excited to be hopefully back at full strength with a new appointment. And I did put in a late call to Jeff today, but didn't hear back from him. So I assume there's nothing breaking in either physically or breaking news. And I know I've seen them all out plowing and treating, so they've been busy, and that's probably the main news from the highway department is they're in the midst of winter and doing a good job of it. So we're
No
grateful
question.
to their good works there, and they seem like they got themselves ready and now they're in it. So that's all I've got for liaison.
I did run into Jeff today. The charge point people that were going to fix the charger for some reason wanted a representative from the town to be there, and Jeff and I were the available ones. However, after I saw him this morning, he had gone to work at 11 last night, worked all night, and I said, "You get done what you need to get done and go home, and I'll take care of that for you." So that's why he didn't respond. He's probably asleep.
Yeah. Well, they've been working hard.
No question. All right. We've got a little time before our appointment. I don't see him here anyway.
Actually, Rick, if I may, just because it sort of tags on to the highway stuff, and I see the Kingsleys are here, and I did get a call from Mrs. Kingsley earlier today with two questions. One we can take up now because it's sort of highway related. She went up to the transfer station and noticed there was a new donation box for clothing, and it says that the proceeds from it will benefit the town of Shelburne. And she was wondering what that was all about. And I told her that I hadn't been to the transfer station in a little while, so I didn't have any information about that. But what's the deal with the clothing collection?
We switched haulers because the Salvation Army was unresponsive and we were getting a lot of complaints, a lot of bags outside the bin. So the new hauler, whose name escapes me, is paying the town, it might be 6 cents per pound for the materials that they're taking out. I'd have to again look at that number, but that's the benefit to the town is that we are receiving a small
Oh, but
amount.
this is more responding to the state directive to not put cloth in the trash, right? So that,
Textiles are no longer
right.
allowed in the trash, yes.
So this is like rags then, right?
It's anything from clothing to clean materials.
Okay, but this is sort of separate and distinct from donating usable clothing to the bin up by the cowl where they get redistributed to people and stuff.
That is true.
So
Yes.
this is more just keeping old stuff out of the trash.
Yes.
Okay. That's a helpful
Yeah.
distinction, as I think there are folks who may be confused by those different collection points and maybe not understanding what's happening with the clothes that get put into them. But
Yeah. The
if
one
you
at
put
Cowell is for the clothing closet out of
right,
the food pantry.
so if you put ratty stuff up there, that's just going to go into a rag disposal. And
I would go to the website, the town of Shelburne's website, and on the solid waste districts page, it will explain more about the new collection system.
okay, okay, that's helpful. Um, and then the other request, I guess we should bring up under other business, which
Okay.
is which was just that they were asking if and when we might go back to in-person meetings. So maybe we can address that when we get farther down.
Okay. All right. I still don't see our appointments, so our next item, uh, noteworthy news. I don't believe we have any there. Old business pocket park update. I'll give you a quick start on that. Um, I wish it were all good news, but it's not. Um, the last meeting, we looked at an electrical connection between the street lamp and the pavilion. Um, we looked at a proposal for landscaping, and we talked about connecting with another landscaper to come in to set the stone slabs on the retaining wall. In the process of going through that, we found out that we can't do that because it's against the Mass General laws and accounting, and we didn't find that out. As you know, we all kicked it around back in September, I think, tried to go to that way. And it turns out that um, it's not allowed to pay for goods or services until they're in hand, literally. So we've had to cancel the Paul Mary contract for the electrical connection. We had to cancel the sowing seeds work. And I found out and didn't even bother to reconnect with the person I told you about to set the stones um, because they won't be delivered until spring per the agreement. We were able to proceed so that at this point we have $13,497.50. In order to not lose that, we have to spend it, or I'm sorry, we have to spend it in a work that's completed um, by the 31st. And the only way to save that, rather than to turn around and give it back to the state, would be to transfer that balance of APR funds to the Cowell Gym Project account, which we do have invoices that we can pay from that um, to the tune of, as I said, $13,497.50. So I'm looking for a motion to make that transfer of the remaining balance of ARPA funds uh, so that we don't lose them.
So moved.
Second.
disappointingly, moved
I
and
have a question.
any further discussion?
Yes.
Fire.
Just wanted to confirm that we are still purchasing the stone slabs, yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
good. So yeah, well, it sounds like that that's the balance of money will go to a useful and worthy purpose, and we'll still wind up zeroing out the ARPA money.
Right. And you will see that in the warrants this week after we take a vote. So any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. Andrew, I believe you made the motion.
Aye.
Rod?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. Okay, that was the only item under old business. And oh, we have a phone number there. I suspect that's our appointment. Yes, that looks familiar.
Yes.
John?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So
Okay.
our appointment is for 5:45. We're only a minute late getting to you, John. John Horrocks is from the Western Mass Rod and Gun Club, contacting us regarding the winter maintenance of the sidewalk that runs along their building from Bridge down Deerfield Avenue. Apparently, historically, in a thumbnail, John, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but a thumbnail overview is historically there was an agreement previously that's been unable to be found on either end that the snow and ice on the roof that is about a 12/12 pitch that dumps onto that section of sidewalk is a hazard. Obviously, almost 3 stories up is going to do a world of hurt to anybody walking under when something lets go. So historically, the Rod and Gun has not cared or cleared that walkway. And they're here tonight to address that issue once again formally. Did I get that right, John?
Yes, you did.
Fire away.
I know I've been a member for about 40 years, and this is the third time that this has come up. And we have been told in the past, don't worry about the walk, just don't clear it, because that will encourage people to use it. I guess you would like us to have something a little more formal where we ask for permission to close that section during bad weather and winter. And then we can avoid any safety issues because, it was bad when it was slate, but it's worse now that it's metal and it's got the little things sticking up on it that the snow gets hung up on, but it eventually falls.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know when it's going to fall. It might be the sun shining on it. It might be getting a rainy day. It might be when it gets really cold. I don't know what makes it fall, but it falls and it lands right in the sidewalk. So we need to get permission to close that section of sidewalk off
During the winter months.
during the winter months.
Right. And you've had that verbally in years gone by, correct?
Yes. We had a meeting not last Thursday, but Thursday before, and I brought it up. I said, I've been in contact with Shelburne about clearing the sidewalk. And, everybody says, that's old news. We don't even want to discuss it. We've gone over this and over this. And, we've been told, don't do it. So, but you want something more. I know it was something in writing because I saw it in writing. Well, I don't know how long ago that was. It was probably 30 years ago when I did see something that was in writing. And where it is, I have no idea where it is.
So what triggered this was that a citizen from somewhere, I don't know necessarily which town, complained that that stretch of sidewalk had not been cleared. So that's where the initial impetus to follow up with the rod and gun and ask about it. That's what brought us here today. I think, just my personal opinion is that if you just fail to clear the sidewalk and we don't get a lot of snow, or after this rain, the snow is gone from the sidewalk, and you leave it clear and somebody walks under and the ice comes down, that's a hazard. So I feel personally that we should consider authorizing them to actually put up sawhorses or something in the winter saying this section of sidewalk is closed due to falling snow and ice. That way, somebody like I was up there today with my ice creepers on. If I saw ice there, I probably would have walked down it, never thinking 3 stories up is a world of hurt. So that's
yeah.
here tonight.
Yeah. Well, something needs to be done. Yeah, I mean, if I've seen the snow fall off and I've seen chunks of ice fall off there before, and I tell you, it's a long way up, and it's going to do harm or worse. I mean, it could kill somebody. So I do believe that we should just block it off and just say, this section closed during winter months.
I think
because, not just this year, but this is an ongoing thing. Nothing is going to change. The building isn't going to move, and we have no control of the weather. So, I mean, it's going to continue to be an issue. So,
yeah, and I don't think you could close it off or put up that without the town's permission, since the sidewalk is the town's. So it is the only building downtown with a steep roof like that. Most of them are flat. So it's not an issue on all the other buildings in the village in that area. So I'm open to that. What's Rod, any comments, thoughts?
You were thinking exactly what I was thinking. That probably should be closed off during winter months.
Okay. Andrew?
I think the only amendment I would make to that proposal is that it not be the Rod and Gun Club that closes the sidewalk, it be the town that closes the sidewalk. And so the town highway department should put up a barrier at either end and make the call about when to put it in and when to remove it. I mean, it is a town way, so you can't give the right of way of the sidewalk to a private business.
Works for me. Rod?
Works for me.
That makes total sense, Andrew. Good point. And I think it's a way better way to prevent a tragedy than just allowing them, as apparently has gone by word of mouth in the past, to just not maintain it. So would you like a motion?
Sure, I'll move that we authorize the highway department to close that section of sidewalk on Deerfield Avenue during the winter months, and at the discretion of the highway superintendent, who can make the call about when to put them in and when to remove them
on an ongoing annual basis.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
I think that's a great idea. I don't think I have any say in this because I live in Buckland, but
well, no worries. I think it makes sense. But you happy with that?
Yeah. Yes, I'm happy with that.
All right, let's put the matter to a vote. Andrew?
Aye.
Rod?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. We'll notify the highway superintendent to do that every year and try and avoid a tragedy and not have it keep coming up back to you guys every 20, 30, or 40 years.
Yeah. I mean, can we get something in writing about that? A copy of your motion and vote. Can the rod and gun have a copy of that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
It'll be in our
that
minutes.
would be helpful. And I will make sure I know where it is.
It'll be a copy of our minutes, correct, Terry?
Yes, once the minutes are approved, I'll send you a copy, John.
That'll be 2 weeks.
Okay.
We won't break
Okay.
for 2 weeks.
Rick?
Okay. Sounds
Yes,
good.
Andrew?
The only other related note that I thought was going to come up here, but this turned out to be a snow on the roof issue and not a plow issue. But because had the roof been pointed in a different direction, not falling onto the sidewalk, that section of sidewalk also raises the issue of plowing versus sidewalk clearing. And my observation has been that, and I don't know how many sections of the village are like this. It may be that the Rod and Gun Club or Deerfield Avenue is the only place where this is true, but in the sections of street where there is no verge, then the snow plows plow the snow directly onto the sidewalk, which then turns to cement pretty quickly. And it's in those sections, it's pretty difficult for residents and businesses to keep the sidewalks clear. And I've noticed it more in my walks in Buckland when I come down North Street. And it used to be that all of North Street the sidewalk just got plowed over because there's no verge there and the owners couldn't maintain it. Now that they've put a new cement sidewalk in all the way up to 112, I think Buckland has purchased a little sidewalk tractor and they keep the whole thing clear now, which is great. For me anyway, as a walker. But that's been my observation is that if there's no verge, I think the town has a responsibility to clear sidewalks rather than residents and businesses, because the plows just make a mess out of the sidewalks.
Yes, that was something way back. I don't know how many years ago it was. We did clear the sidewalk. There's nowhere to put the snow except for back in the road.
Yeah.
So we cleared the snow back into the road. And they
Right.
came and said, you can't do that. And I mean, well, what are we supposed to put it in the back of pickup trucks and take it away? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So
Yeah,
I
and
understand where
hopefully,
you're.
I'm hopeful that it's only Deerfield Avenue where that condition exists, but I haven't made a full survey of town sidewalks. But that is a problem with plows and sidewalks. When there's no verge, there's nowhere to put it, and the plows just pump that slush right onto the sidewalk where it freezes.
Okay.
Yeah.
A discussion for another time. We'll see what comes up. But thank you for your time, John. Appreciate it. You have a good evening.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
All
Okay.
right.
Have a good night.
Night.
You too, John.
Night. Bye.
Okay, new business. Actually, is there any other old business? Hearing none. Item A, new business, Bailey Cole. For my 2 cents, the best transfer station attendant we've ever had. Kept the place spotless, organized, was friendly, helpful, greeting everybody that came. Can I help you with your bags? Yet paid attention to what he was supposed to be paying attention to. I thought he was terrific. Has set tomorrow, the December 30th, as his last day with notice, shortly after our last meeting, and has found other things that will conflict with the time frame of our opening. So I would like to accept that resignation with great appreciation for what he did while he was with us. He also told me today, I ran into him on the steps of Town Hall, that in a pinch, if we need help and he's available, he'd gladly come in. So food for thought.
Very nice of him.
Item B, transfer station winter hours. You may recall that, again, Bailey said, hey, I don't mind staying open after 4 on Tuesdays, which we close generally during the winter months at 4 instead of 7. And he said, it's well lit. We keep the ground safe as far as sanding and so on. And we left it open until 7. We have not been able to find a replacement for him, despite advertising since our last meeting. And we do have Rick Grant, who's stepped up to volunteer to take care of it for as short a period of time as we can do, because he said, but please let us close at 4. So I think we would need a motion to go back to our winter hours effective January 6th in order to get Rick to come on board and help us out.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
What's the start time to that motion?
January 6th.
No, the hours start time.
10
Oh,
a.m. to 4
10
p.m.
to 4. Okay.
Yep.
So
Instead of,
that's so the motion is to revert to 10 to 4 on Tuesdays for the winter.
correct.
Okay.
So moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew,
Aye.
Rod,
Aye.
and I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. Excuse me. Item C, new business, short-term rental inspection fee. The multiple meetings have happened between the COG representative, the fire chief for the town, the fire chief for the village, the town clerk. There's been a lot of work done to try and figure out how to implement and the process for enacting this new zoning bylaw that we voted for last town meeting and was approved by the Attorney General this year. Just recently, late fall, I believe. In any event, they've found inconsistencies where 3 different of the groups were doing fire alarm inspections. So they've narrowed it down to make it a little smoother process, and need us to set the fee for the license to run a short-term rental. And the town of Buckland has it in place at $125, and they felt that the town of Shelburne should match that so that they're consistent on both sides of the river.
Who is the inspector who does this inspection?
Well, there's different inspections that need to be done. If it's in the village, the Herb, the chief on the Shelburne Falls Fire District, inspects the fire codes, I believe the fire alarms, all that kind of stuff. Randy Crozier, if I'm not mistaken, does the inspection for, is it health related? I wasn't at the meeting, so I don't have a full handle on it, but I know those 2 are right. So who else doesn't inspect? Oh, the building inspector, I think.
Building inspector.
Building inspector has to sign off too. So there's 3 sign-offs before it's issued.
So the 125 covers all of that.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I move that we initiate a $125 inspection fee for short-term rentals.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew,
Aye.
Rod,
Aye.
and I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. The last item under new business, D, is the appointment to the Sewer Commission, which you alluded to earlier, Andrew, in your liaison report. Mary Ann Dalton. You have her letter to us and the recommendation from the Sewer Commission, who met with her and voted to ask us to appoint her. to that?
So moved.
It'll be all Mechanic Street.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's what I told Mary Ann, that we're the Mechanic Street Mafia now.
No question about it.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew,
Aye.
Rod,
Aye.
and I am I. Motion passes 3-0-0. Any other business not known in advance far enough for posting of the agenda?
Oh, just that that the Kingsleys had requested to me that we go back to meeting in person when we are able to do so.
Okay. You said they were looking for an answer as to when we plan to do that, and the answer is we don't have a plan of when to do that. Interestingly, the attendance, the feedback has improved with online meetings. In person, we meet at 5:30, so people have a 4 o'clock dinner or a 9 o'clock dinner, and they move on down to town hall and sit through a meeting, and that almost never happened unless there was an issue they were there to advocate for. The Zoom meetings are recorded, they're watched, actually streamed live, and constantly I get feedback of people who say, "Hey, I watched your meeting the other night and yada yada about such and such." I think they like it because they can fast forward through the stuff on the agenda they're not interested and get to what they want to see. So we're actually getting more input from the public with Zoom meetings. The state is the one that authorizes Zoom meetings, and they renew that. I think they've renewed it for a period of time during COVID, and then at the end of COVID, they renewed it for another year. And this year, did they renew it for one more year or indefinitely?
I believe through 2027, and they're trying to make it a formal part of long-term legislation.
So that's kind of the background in a nutshell for the Kingsleys. The uh, the answer is still we haven't discussed it as a board, or it hasn't come up as something that we wanted to consider at this time.
I will note, Rick, that when we do get requests for individuals who don't have access to computers, I'm always telling them that the board would be willing to hold an in-person meeting to accommodate them if needed.
When they have something to bring before us.
Yes.
Gotcha. Does that answer your question, Mr. or Mrs. Kingsley? And if no response, we'll move on unless Andrew or Rod has a comment in that regard.
I have no comment.
Yeah, I think there are there are folks who may not be as internet savvy as others, who may not be as adept at utilizing Zoom, and so that I think that was one of the concerns of whether or not we're excluding people
Okay.
whose voices are not even being heard because they don't know how to show up.
Okay. Well, they can't. They can give public comment at the end. Anyone who attends our meeting, we of course can't address any comments made under that. So it does give them an opportunity. But as you said, Terry, anyone can ask for an appointment to discuss a specific issue at any time. And I don't hear any comments from the Kingsleys, so we will move on. Also, under any other business, Jeff, the highway superintendent, and I met this morning at Town Hall with an additional potential winter snow removal part-time worker. It's proven difficult to get and keep, as you know. We looked, we couldn't find, and a fellow that was doing it before has been trying to keep up with it as well. But it's an on-call position, so you never know what day or when or what time of the day you're going to be needed, and so that's what's made it so hard to find somebody. This person came through, got talked to Jeff. Um, Jeff wanted to sit down with him and ask about his experience running the snowblower that's mounted on front of a lawn style tractor, the plow truck, not the big giant dump trucks, but the pickup truck plowing. This fella has that experience. Mechanic Street Mafia. This is Zach Abdel Gawad. Abdel Gawad. That's it. Abdel Gawad. Zach Abdel Gawad. Lives on Mechanic Street, has the experience. He was pleasant. He has a DOT license. And part-time positions. We don't do interviews normally. Well, we don't do interviews as a group, under a special meeting or anything. So Jeff is very confident and asks that I put before you the request to approve his use of hiring Zach Abdel Gawad for winter season snow removal,
So
primarily in the village, almost all in the village, I understand.
so moved.
Second.
And moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Just a question. Has Rick, I mean, not Rick, sorry.
Yeah.
Has Jeff tried him out on the equipment that he's going to be using?
All of the equipment is not specialized, wouldn't require DOT material, and he has had experience on it. But Jeff assured me, Terry, and him that he would be supervising and guiding it as he gets used to do, or as he's used. So if he needs to work on the snowblower the first time he's called, Jeff will be there to school him, watch him, train him. Same thing with the truck and so on. So yes, Jeff is keenly aware of that. If he were a full-time hire and driving big trucks, that'd be a whole different story of how we deal with it for sure.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, as long as Jeff is confident, I am confident in Jeff, so I will extend my trust forward from there.
So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the hiring of Zach Abdel Gawad for part-time on-call seasonal snow removal chores at the town's going rate. It was seconded. And any other discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew.
Aye.
Rod.
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. Any other business that I'm not aware of?
We did receive that letter from Wildlife Fish and Game
Right.
regarding the acquisition of 50 acres, give or take. I'm not sure whether the board wants to take that up this evening or our next meeting.
I did put that under correspondence, so we'll go to
Oh,
correspondence.
okay, I'm sorry.
No worries. You both got copies of that and the email from the Board of Assessors, but in a nutshell, and you can decide if we're going to act on it this evening or at all. We got a request, a letter from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Fish and Game for a letter of support for the Department of Fish and Game's purchase of this property. It's 50 acres of currently wildlife habitat. They didn't tell us in the letter who they were going to buy it from, what the lot number was, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of digging today between Terry, myself, and Karen in the assessor's office. If you're in Greenfield, headed up Brook Road, after the Y and you head up Brook Road, you hit the town line for Shelburne fairly shortly. It's immediately the property on the right. So that's where the Greenfield Shelburne town line begins. This property is bordered by Greenfield. and quite a distance of frontage on the brook and Brook Road. So it um, was owned by, I think that's in your note, by a
Roy?
couple,
Gary,
Lori and Gary Roy from Greenfield. It was a trust in their name. They sold it in July of this year to the Audubon Society. So they were paying, their trust was paying $3,520 roughly a year in taxes. But now that they've sold it in July to the Audubon simply has to ask the assessors to not pay taxes on it. And so be it. That's as easy as that. Nobody gets a say in it. The Commonwealth, however, if the Fish and Game do take it and purchase it from the Audubon Society, they do generally a pilot program. It's called Payment in Lieu of Taxes. Pilot is another one of the dumb acronyms I hate. And put a small portion of money for that lot in a cherry sheets. The problem with that, in the feedback I got today from the assessor's office, is that the town has its own formula for putting a value on these properties, and the state doesn't care. And so a majority of towns are fighting the state's arbitrary number that they just say, here's what we're going to give you in lieu of taxes for that property, or that much acreage and whatever. So I'm not a big fan of writing a letter of support to the Fish and Game for the purchase of property they wouldn't even tell us what was. And then maybe later be part of multiple towns pressuring the state to change the formula of how they give us some level of taxes. As you know, as a municipality, we run on property taxes. Grants help out on projects here and there, but we do the daily business on our property taxes. And all these properties that go into these kind of things are pretty much revenue lost. So my initial personal instinct is I'm not a big fan of writing them a letter of support, since it's already with a nonprofit. But the other flip side of that is it's protected. It's going to be available for hunting, trapping, fishing, outdoor recreation. So that's a good thing. But that's my 2 cents after spending hours on this today. So I'd be open to your thoughts or comments from Rod or Andrew on it specifically, or would you like time to ponder it yourself and kick this can down 2 weeks to our next meeting? It's up to you.
I'd like to kick this can down the road for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. My recollection is that there's a property that got logged over, and then I don't know who owns it, but the Open Space Committee put a bunch of public trails on a property that I thought was down in that direction. Is this piece adjacent to that? Do you know what I'm talking about, Terry?
I do not.
You don't?
That's the Red Trail and the Loop Trail, I believe. It's on Rod's Road, Old Greenfield Road, and it's owned by the Payne family, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
But it's got town trails on it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most
But
of them,
this property connected to that property?
Not even close.
no,
They're
it's
not next to each other.
No.
that's
Okay.
Old Greenfield Road, and this is Brook Road.
Oh, we're talking about Brook Road. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Brook Road. If you're out in the meadows, you go through the meadows towards Shelburne, Smead Hill Road out there.
Okay.
and you come to the fork, you bear left. Now you're on Brook Road, and it
Okay.
snakes
Yeah.
all comes out.
Okay. Well, my other question in that regard is if Audubon owns it or Fish and Wildlife buys it, we have a tax title piece of land. I forget how many acres it is down on Brick Road,
Yeah.
but maybe that would be worth joining to this parcel if they were interested in buying that. That would be one way to get it off the town's hands and connected to a preservation usage, it seems like it's not developable land anyway, so that might be a good line to pursue and if this proves fruitful. My other question is um, the the property tax that was being paid by the previous owner. I'm assuming that was the Chapter 61 rate. Is that correct, Terry?
It was not under.
It was not in the chapters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what is believed at this point. There's no documentation that it was by the assessor's office.
Oh, okay.
Uh, in the email you got in this information today, this land was not previously under any chapter for forest program or agricultural program that the records show.
Oh, okay. So they were actually paying more than most people pay for that kind of land then.
Shelburne's, well, it was considered developable. So
Oh,
unlike our town-owned property, which is on the other side of Brook Road and is straight up and down,
yeah.
this is before you get up there, and it's potentially developable. However, you'd have to go over the brook. And that's a long road to hoe for sure to get approval, but it's doable. We had it at fiscal year land schedule at $270,000 valuation. The trust sold it, or is yeah, the trust sold it to the Audubon for 100,000, less
Hmm.
less than half that. So I think they might either just want to be good doobies and have it preserved, or found out that it's a small fortune to develop and kick that can down the road. Who knows?
Or they did a bargain sale and took some tax value out of it.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, a lot of reasons. So, all right.
But
Well,
anyway, I was just curious what value that might have. But it seemed to me that going to your question about the letter is that now if it's now owned by Audubon and potentially owned by Fish and Wildlife, we're going from zero tax value to some tax value.
mhm.
So that seems like a plus for the town at this point, rather than a minus.
Mhm. Well, it's a minus either way from 35 or 3,600 we
Mhm.
usually get, but
Well, right, but I mean, I think that
yeah, I heard.
that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
You
I hear
know?
you. So
We're now going from zero to something.
yeah, and unfortunately, there's no way to know what that something would be. Um, it's just why isn't it the Audubon Society that's asking us for support for them to sell it? We'd like the town support. If the Audubon was saying to us, we bought this property, we think for these reasons it is better held by the Fish and Game. We'd like a letter of support for this. That would make sense to me. Why is the buyer asking us for a letter of support? That's the part that
Well, I
kind
guess my other question is, why is anybody asking us for a letter of support? Why don't they
of,
just sell it and be done with it?
exactly. So that's why I said I'd rather just wash my hands of it and say,
Well, I'm just curious, Terry, do you know why the town would have any play in this?
No, never seen anything quite like this.
and I asked the assessor, Karen, and she'd never seen it either.
Well, I would say let's save it for the next meeting, and maybe in the interim we can send a query to Fish and Wildlife and just ask them, why do you want the town's support for this? And and if you do purchase it, we're certainly interested in negotiating a pilot with you because that's where we would be at that point. But until they own it, we can't really talk to them about it.
Yeah. And I don't know that we have any say in the pilot.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, I'd take a pilot over nothing.
All right. Well, again, I hate to give a letter of support for something that really doesn't make sense to me yet.
Mhm.
So let's bring it up at our next meeting. We'll put it
Why,
on
why don't we ask them why a letter? You know, how is that helpful in this process?
It's
I'll do
easy.
that.
Yep. Christy Edwards, Director of Capital Planning and Land Protection, Department of Fish and Game, Boston. We will send that out and ask. We'll kick it around in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And public comment. We have one listener live with us for public comment. If there's any, unmute and speak your piece. And hearing none, we're down to a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 300. We are adjourned at 6:26. Thank you all. Have a good evening.